So this will be a tutorial about how to create interactable objects and then interact with those objects. So let's first play the scene, look at some examples of uh, interactable objects. In this case, we have some food items that we can interact with, eat those food items. We have an interactable door, the cannon, and then we have a lamp that can be turned uh, on and off. In a second. Takes a while to load, I don't know why. Okay. So you see, when we look at an interactable object, we have the text that displays what we can do with that object. And also you see we have an image of a circle in the middle that changes color when you're looking at something. So we have this, we have the door, you can open and close. Also you notice that the text changes as well. We have the cannon, and then a lamp that we can turn on and off. Okay, so let's first look at each object here has a interactable object script, which looks like this. We have just a few things here. We have the name of the effect, so the thing that happens when we interact with that object. Optionally, we can spawn the effect. In the case of when we're eating these food items, we just destroy those when we interact with them. We don't need an effect. We only need a sound effect and the name of the action. But because these different objects have different effects, those effects will spawn as game objects that have a script. So that's why you have the effect prefab here. Also, we spawn that effect at a specific location. So these objects here have a spawn point for the effect. You have an empty object that will represent the position where we spawn those effects. We have a sound effect that's also a game object, and then optionally we have a bool here, destroy an effect. So for certain objects, for example, the food items, we destroy those when we interact with them. So after the effect, we have the option to destroy that object. And we interact with those objects using the player script. In here, we have the controls for the movement and the camera movement, but we will not discuss those. We discussed those in the previous videos. In here, we only look at raycasting to the middle of the view. So we have two raycasts. We have one that we do every frame to detect what's in front of us here. And how we do it, we raycast from the camera forward. So that will be the center of the view. So you see here, we raycast from the camera position forward. And then we have a range. And in this case, we have a layer mask here. So we only target the interactable layer, physics layer. And then if the color is not correct, we so if we hit something with the raycast, we change the color. If the text is not enabled, we enable it and change it to the effect name of the interactable object. Else, if we're not hitting anything, then we change the circle color, and then we disable that text if there's nothing in front of us. So we do this every frame in the update function. And then when we press C, we have a different raycast to interact with the object. So it's the same raycast to the middle of the view. And then we get the interactable object script. If obviously if you hit something with the raycast. And then in here we spawn the effect only if it does exist. So we check first if the effect does exist. In that case, we spawn it. Also, if the object, the interactable object needs to be destroyed, we destroy it. Also, we spawn the sound effect only if it exists here. So we do this only once when we press E and there's an object in front of us. So that's how how the interaction works. Now let's look at the different interactions we have. So again, for example, when we interact with the door, we spawn the effect as a game object with the script, and the script is here. So we have the interactable layer as a variable. We have that door has two animations, to open and to close. So we want to save that animator of the door. So we have a variable, animator variable. We have the interactable object script. So the interactable object script on the door. And then at the start, exactly when this script spawns, we overlap sphere to get all the colliders within a sphere, and this will return an array of colliders, but we only care about the collider on position 0, which will be the door. So after we get the door animator here, and then the script, we either open it or close it depending on the state the door is in right now. So if the door is closed and the action is open door, then we open the door and then change that text to close door, because now the door is opened and the action now is to close the door, not to open it. And the same if the door is closed. I mean, if it's opened here. And then after that, we destroy this script. We don't need to keep this in the scene. So that's for the door. For the cannon, in this case, this script will be on the cannon ball. So we have a rigid body on that ball. We have a move speed and a move direction. Also lifetime, because we want to destroy this after a certain amount of seconds. We want to keep this in the scene. So to start, we get the rigid body of the ball, we give it some velocity, and we destroy it after some time with the destroy function. But you can, again, with the destroy function, you can destroy an object instantly or after a certain number of seconds. So in this case, we wait some time and then destroy it. That's for the cannon. So when we interact with that, we spawn the ball, which has the script. And then for the lamp, it's similar to the door. We have a layer mask, only interact with the interactable objects, and we have a variable for the script that is on the lamp. So again, we overlap sphere to get the lamp, and then we get the interactable object script, and then we either turn it on or turn it off, depending on the state it is. In this case, we have the lights of the lamp as children of the lamp. So here you see we get the children that have the light and enable and disable doors, depending on the state of the lamp. And then, of course, we destroy it at the end. We don't want to keep this in the scene. Okay, so that's how to interact with objects. If you guys have questions, I will take questions. I guess not. Okay, so that will be everything about interactable objects.